You crawl out of a mud pit, half blind and choking on ash. Around you, others thrash in the dirt until a whip cracks and one falls silent. That's the start. There's no cradles, no songs. You learn to fight for scraps before you can stand. Dinner is a dented pot of rat stew if the pot shows up at all. Most days it's a stale crust, hard enough to split a tooth. When a runt collapses, the rest stare at him because meat is meat, and tomorrow will be worse. You chew until your jaw aches, and you don't ask what it was. Childhood is marching in circles until your leg shakes. Older orcs hit you for sport. Captains hit you for discipline. Sometimes you swing back, not to win, just to remind yourself you exist. Cry once and a boot drives the sound out of you. Fall once and no one lifts you. The day you can lift a blade, training starts. A rusted sword in your hand, a ring of eyes around you. Swing, a captain says. And you do, because the alternative is a knife under your ribs. The weak die fast. The strong last a little longer, until the captain needs an example. You watch one recruit survive his bout, chest heaving with hope. The captain slides steel into him before the breath leaves. "Don't get clever," he mutters, wiping the blade on his leg. Morning starts with a kick. Nights end face down in the mud. You sleep hungry. You wake hungrier. The same moldy bread. The same lash if you chew too slow. They call it glory. You learn the translation. Graves dug shallow. Then the forge. Chains at your ankles, hammer in your hands, heat that peels skin from your forearms, sparks burning through cloth and leaving black dots in your flesh. You swing until your elbows lock and your fingers split. Smoke fills your chest until every breath tastes like iron. Drop the hammer, and hot iron lands on your back. The weak don't get warnings. They get shoved into the fire. When you're not forging, you march. Black rock underfoot, ash falling in your hair, a sky the color of old bruises. You cough until blood stains your tongue. Stumble once, and the orc behind you jabs steel between your ribs to keep the column tight. You don't fear elves or men. You fear the one who sleeps beside you, because if you slip, he eats your share. Or you. This is life in Mordor. Hunger, smoke, and orders that never end. You're alive because someone else isn't. Tomorrow the horn blows. Not the pits, not the smithy. The front. The eye wants bodies. Yours is counted. You wake in mud. No tents, no bedroll, just the ground you dropped on. The air stinks of piss and sweat. You roll up fast because a captain's boot is already hunting ribs. "On your feet," he growls, and the day starts moving with or without you. Breakfast is half a crust and a ladle of something gray if the ladle makes it to your spot. If you're lucky, rat. If you're unlucky, the rat is you. You swallow quick because fingers held too long over a bowl come back shorter. Then marching. Again. Stones slicing your feet. Grit in your teeth. Smoke never clearing. The eye hangs above like a coal. Maybe it sees you. Maybe it doesn't. You behave like it does, because hesitation ends with metal in your back and a boot shoving you out of the file. Work fills whatever hours aren't spent moving. Mines. Swing, breathe dust, swing, spit blood. Forges. Hammer, quench, hammer, burn. Watchtowers. Drag stones until your shoulders grind and your hands blister open. Pass out and you don't get water. You get replaced. The captains call it duty. The word tastes like iron. If Mordor had reviews, they'd say, 0 stars, no pay, long hours, coworkers bite. No one writes them. No one reads them. The lash is the only feedback. And all of it is practice for one task. The horn sound. Blades are handed out. Edges notched to the hilt. You're shoved into ranks by something bigger than fear. The eye wants soldiers. It gets meat. The field never changes. Shoulder to shoulder, breath to breath, pressed so tight your ribs knock against strangers. You look ahead and see knights in bright steel, shields like walls, birds overhead. Not birds, arrows. Elves don't miss. Somewhere beyond the dust, a wizard shouts, and a line of orcs turns to smoke. Your sword feels small. Your mouth is all grit. They tell you the word again. Glory. What it means is a mouthful of mud with a shaft through the neck before you've swung once. Sometimes you don't reach the front at all. A troll surges forward too early and stomps half your line flat. Warg riders carve across your flank, paws and teeth and weight, and you only register fur and then dark. Once a catapult stone from your own side drops like a moon and erases 10 faces in a blank. The last one manages. Wait, that's ours. And then is nothing but red. Men will sing about glory. All you remember is mud, a boot in your back, and a scream that cut off mid-breath. You fight because the whips behind you hurt more than what waits ahead. Victory is a word for other mouths. Surviving a battle doesn't mean safety. It means you're alive long enough for someone else to notice. The field goes quiet. The groans of the wounded stretch across the mud. And that's when the knives start moving. The ones too hurt to crawl beg for water. They get a blade instead. Quicker, cheaper, tidier. The rest of you strip the bodies, pulling off boots, belts, and anything sharp. If you're lucky, you find an elf blade. If you're unlucky, you just find dinner. Because when supplies run low, meat is meat. Doesn't matter if it marched beside you an hour ago. You think you've found a friend, a grunt who passes you a crust when the captains aren't watching. He even laughs once at your joke about the troll that crushed half your line. Next morning, he shoves you into the path of a rider. The horse chooses you. That's friendship in Mordor. Bred one night, betrayal the next. And if you last long enough, you get the point. You don't dream of loyalty. You learn to trip the runt, shove the weakling, and take the whip when it's offered. You tell yourself it's survival, but really it's just recycling. Today's victim, tomorrow's villain. The captains like it this way. They don't raise armies, they breed paranoia. Keep the orcs clawing at each other and nobody asks who's holding the last. Then the ground shudders. The eye burns out. Captains who never blinked at blood drop their swords and run. You don't need an announcement. You know what it means. Sauron is gone. For a second you think maybe this is freedom. No whips, no endless marches. But for an orc, freedom is just the part of the story where the hunting begins. The armies scatter. Some dash into the mountains. Some sink into caves. You stumble into the woods, face still sticky with blood, lungs scraped raw. You hide, because hiding is all you've ever known. Then the hunters arrive. Men with dogs. Elves who lose arrows without breaking stride. Dwarves with axes, treating you like overgrown pests. You swing back, but without Sauron's shadow, you're not an army. You're leftovers. And the ones not taken by men fall to each other. Camps burn, leaders last hours, and dinner gets suspiciously familiar. One night you wake to crunching and see your bunkmate chewing on something that used to answer roll call. You don't ask who. You just move deeper into the dark. That's your life as an orc. No one carves your name. No one remembers your face. The mud closes over, and the story moves on without you.